Rock fans from wherever you are, welcome to MPJ, Musical People and Journeys new album and rock review show. I'm Nige, and with me today is Lauren, Trish, Pete and William, and we are reviewing all the latest rock albums. And today's episode we are reviewing a band called Jutes and their album Dilworth, where we tell you what we think and then we rate them out of 5 and see if they get into our Hall of Fame. Let's start with you, Trish, today. What have you heard of this band before? What did you think of this album? And tell our listeners, in your wonderful rock chick way, how good or bad they were.
I'd not heard of them before, and I always find it interesting when an album has quite less tracks on it. So like this is 8 tracks at 23 minutes long. For me, an album really needs to deliver in that time. Beautiful vocals from the lead on the opening track, quite mesmerizing in a way. And wow, when the heavy banging drums and guitars hit you, you are certainly woken up and alerted to this band saying, here we are. What a banging way to start an album. I really like the track Smut, which is then followed by a softer melodic Red Velvet, which gave me sort of Bad Omen, straight the Weekend sounding vibes, which again, I love this mix and the collab with Ari Abdul. There isn't a bad song on this album. I love them all, each having their own place and individuality. Again, I have to reiterate, vocals are outstanding. This album really hit my sweet spot, and when the end track came, I didn't want the album to end. Easily an album to have on repeat.
So, solid start for Jutes then. Will it continue, William?
Yeah, I mean, it's an album. I was whelmed by it, as I'm so fond on saying. It weirded me out. It's like the first song started, and I was like, it sounds like they're just trying to do One More Light by Linkin Park. It's like the exact same kind of backing music, in the same way that the singing happens in that song. Then I don't know. I couldn't really get what this album was trying to do. Doing lots of different things. Sounds. I thought his vocals were fine. They're nothing like special, nothing amazing. It was a fun enough way to spend half an hour listening to the album, but it's not something I'm probably going to go back to. It's a fine, rocky album, but other than that, there's nothing really special that makes it more than just average above average. My listening.
Now, some of you is average, but we persevere. Pete!
Hi. So, I've never heard of these guys before, so didn't know what to expect. And was hooked pretty quickly as soon as those heavy guitar chugs came rolling in, thundering down on me, and I was like, oh yeah, I like this. Guy's voice, to me, absolutely mesmerizing, like beautiful, and all together with the vocals and the fact that they really don't stick to one genre. They really be a little bit all about the place. They experiment a bit. They're like, the hell with labels, the hell with genres. We just do what we feel like, which is giving me enormous Sleep Token vibes, which is an enormous compliment to give from me. Then one of the tracks called One of Us, where suddenly the band turns into Limp Bizkit. I agree with Will said that the album is a little bit all over the place, and he may not be understanding what they were doing with it, and maybe I don't either, but I don't need to. All that I need to know and understand is that I like this, and I wanted the album to be longer, really. That's the main point of critique, is give me more of this next time, please. Make a longer album. Thank you.
Fair play. Lauren?
So this is an album that I suggested. It mainly came from the fact that I had my Amazon Music on, and end of my playlist that I'd made had begun, and then it just starts throwing stuff at you that it'll think you'll like. And one of the first songs it then played that made me go, "Oh, what is this?" was Smut. And we all know I love a bit of smut metal. That is one of the things I really enjoy. So I was like, right, well, I'm really interested. I'm going to go look into this artist and see what's going on. And yeah, what I found really interesting is I do agree with people on the vein of like, it seems a little bit all over the place here and there. However, if you look at the back catalogue, it makes a lot of sense because they've dipped their toe into pretty much everything. Like when they started out, there was a lot of hip hop, stuff like that. And now this is the sound that they're really sort of settling into after their last sort of offering, which was very pop punk. The three main tracks that I really enjoyed were Smut, Red Velvet, and Crucifix. Overall, I thought it had a really ethereal sound in places, and I put that it sort of harks to the style of like Sleep Token, so totally agree with Pete on that one, and sort of like Magnolia Park, who we've looked at before. It's short and sweet, which is both a blessing and a curse, because it sort of makes you sit up and go, "Oh, okay," but by the time you're then like, "Okay, right then, give it to me," it's done. It packs a punch with the slick production in places, and I do like the fact that it straddles those multiple genres, just because as a huge Sleep Token fan who's been to see them a few times and stuff, it just sort of harks to that genre that is getting really, really popular and really, really quite interesting. It's quite exciting to see where the scene's going on that front. If more of it had made it, even though there's not a lot of it, if more of it had made it into my personal listens, then it would have got a bit of a better score. But I think for an 8-track album, I was genuinely quite impressed and thought I'd share.
I agree with Crucifix. Crucifix hit my playlist. I thought that was an absolute banger of a track. Yeah, I think it's similar really vibes. Really, I think that it was a cracking album. It just. And I think it jumped from. I like variation, but I like kind of variation within its kind of genre, mixing kind of things up with it. I think they jumped a little bit too much, and that there was elements of that sort of like pop punk in there, which is not my greatest kind of cup of tea. But it also balanced out with what I think it was. If you're going to do this sort of stuff, short and sweet is perfect. I'm not quite really sure where the Sleep Token kind of thing comes in, because like Sleep Token would be an hour and a half album rather than a 30-minute album. So I don't think there was any kind of crossover there. But and equally, it was a lot more upbeat than Sleep Token. So, but it was fun. It was a fun, enjoyable album. It wouldn't probably come back on a replay, but certain tracks would kind of pop out, and yeah, for 30 minutes it was an absolute bit of a little banger, really, wasn't it? So will it be a banger enough to get into our Hall of Fame? Maybe, who knows? Let's find out, shall we then? Trish, then we will start with you.
I gave this a 5.
5. And William?
A perfectly respectable 3.
3. Pete?
Down the middle with a 4.
And also Simon also gives this a 3 as well. I give this a perfectly respectable 4. Now, Lauren, as you put this forward, the way it currently stands at the minute, if we were to drop one of the 3s, a rating of 4 or more from you would put this just about into our Hall of Fame. So, was your nomination worth it? Lauren, hit us with your score. What did you give this?
Jutes, welcome to the big leagues, my friend. I gave you a 4.
You did. Congratulations. Well done. You see, Pete, sometimes I set it up for success rather than failure. But
for me, though.
So congratulations to Jutes. Welcome to our Hall of Fame. Look at kind of my notes here. Out of 578 albums, I think this was rated our joint 110th album, which is pretty stonking. 36 of the year. It might get, that somebody might give it a wild card into our top 20 albums of the year, where we will review those. Who knows? You'll be in that list, so you're not going to automatically make it. But anyway, that doesn't matter. You are in the MPJ Hall of Fame! Yay! Congratulations to Duke. Welcome. But do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave your comments below. Hit the like and subscribe button. And in the meantime, thank you much to my wonderful panel. And keep safe and keep on rocking.